Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. And I wanted to, before I start reading, yes, I've got the hat on. And yes, I have the book here. But thought before or after, I want to make some comments and talk a little bit more. I was talking about the idea that, you get things, and I started to say it, I got into it, and then I got off on another tangent of the same subject. Buying things that, while they're inexpensive, and one of those is, clothing, boots, gloves, coats, sleeping bags, cross-country skis, mountaineering gear, high-quality stuff. You can get that at a lot of thrift stores in the big cities. I had gotten enough skis, and I'm talking cross-country skis, poles, boots, the whole 9 yards, that I was able to get a man's entire family, has children up, all 20 of them up on skis. So that was pretty cool. First winter we got here, that was last winter, we've seen enough snow to go skiing. We've had a couple other ones, I just didn't get around to it, and I don't know where all the skis are now. But I had enough. I had a good collection of cross-country skis, children's skis. So anyway, the rule is who fits gets. If I see a good quality pair of boots, mountaineering boots, Vask, Reichel, Merrill, Timberland, just your I don't remember all the brand names now because it's been a lot of years, but I have 12 grandkids, 5 children, and any other number of people coming in, they're going to need clothing. So if you're heading here and you have a lot of clothing, don't necessarily get rid of it. You might pick through it and, keep your pure cotton stuff, your mixed fabrics. They're good for some things. They're always going to be good for layering. Wool, absolutely. Bring wool. Bring all the wool you can get. If you're in a big city where there's a lot of thrift stores, get in there. I would go in. I had enough United States military wool sweaters to outfit a small patrol, in black and Desert Storm, or, tan, green, about 3 different colors. Now, they're all going to be destroyed now because of the humidity in Missouri, But if you have good quality clothing, put them in plastic bins, plastic bags, something that's mouse-proof and preferably moisture-proof. So, good rule of thumb there. Save a lot of clothing. When the Mormons moved here, they lost an entire semi-load of clothes and furniture, just everything. Everything in the semi went bad, whether it leaked, condensation, heats up, cools down, condensation. You've got mold. Probably lost a semi too, probably was unusable. So be careful with that kind of thing. The plastic tubs with lids, they're worth more than what you're going to pay for them, that's for sure. Because anything you put in is going to be protected from mice and humidity, moisture. So get them. I'm not going to say they're worth their weight in gold, but if you have stuff in there that's going to be protected, they're worth a lot. So who fits gets. Keep that in mind. In other words, if it's good quality, buy it. Somebody's going to use it. So, again, your bigger cities that have a lot of mountaineering stuff, like Denver, a lot of California places, you can get some good quality stuff there. There was a store in Denver I'll never forget, was $10 for sleeping bags. Flat rate, $10. That didn't make any difference whether it was insulated with, as I say, used Kleenexes, just cheap junk insulation. Montgomery Ward sleeping bag that wasn't worth $3. But a good sleeping bag. I walked out one time with a fine Northern Goose eider down sleeping bag, $10. I was just laughing all the way to the counter. Probably a $400 bag. So buy them and stock up, bring them here. If you have good quality stuff like that, make sure they are in. You can buy suitcases cheap, hard case suit luggage at thrift stores. Buy them, cram stuff in them that's valuable. It'll protect it from mice, like I said. moisture, bugs, spiders, you know. So anyway, a couple things like that. And then a prayer request. I would like prayer for just, the farm operation there. Basically, we're going to call it a St. Francis Farm Refugium or Refuge. St. Francis Farm and Refuge. Refugium, I love that word. That's what I see the Ozark Plateau as being, an area where a species or a group of species can survive in the face of extinction in surrounding areas, as in an ice age. Wow. I kid you not, that is one of the definitions. Look it up. I found it online. You can find it online. Prove it to yourself. A refugium. The Ozark Plateau is a refugium. It is a completely separate bioregion from the rest of the world. It's separated by rivers, it's separated by terrain, it's separated by the demographics of the region, the people that settled it. It's separated by the aquifer that's under the entire region. It's separated by the springs that come up out of who knows where, like perhaps from outside the firmament. Ice, cold water that would freeze you. Yeah, so trout farms in a lot of those springs. Divers have gone down as deep as they could go, as deep as they could stand to go in that freezing water, and never found the bottom of some of those springs. They've never found the bottom. So, come out of a mountain, come out from under a hill, come out in just an open plain. Just boom. There's nothing here, and then there's a river. I mean, look at Bennett Springs. It's a river coming up out of a giant hole in the ground, about 100, if I remember right, 100, 200 feet wide, maybe 50 feet, but it's a river. There's nothing. There's a river. And trout. Big trout, So, anyway, but prayer for that operation and prayer for Stone Kingdom of Yahweh. We are being a part of the building up of the Stone Kingdom. And I've said before, I wondered who would be the first visitor to the farm, and it was YouTube channel Stone Kingdom of Yahweh. So shout out to him. Shannon has been pretty much, I will always think of him as one of those people that saved my life, because I don't think I would have made it with all the stress and the work that I knew that I needed to get done and was going to try to get done before Jersey got there with all of her stuff. More stuff. So she's busy sorting through her stuff. So anyway, prayer for that whole thing, her getting unloaded and getting acclimated, and she's seen deer and she's happy as hell, and climbed fences, and I'm like, don't climb fences. She's got a bad ankle that's, she was mauled by a pit bull years ago, and please don't get hurt. Please don't do that. I said, do not climb in the barn. That is forbidden. That's verboten. Don't do it. Wait till I get back. At least I can lay down and soften the blow when you fall, or we'll put the two straw bales there for you to land on. So, anyway, she's having a good time unloading and stuff. So we got some things to, deal with on fuel and how to do this and how to do that, but, we'll work through that. At the Stone Kingdom, though, he's down in Arkansas. He came up just to help her unload, help me help her unload. Here's one thing. Prayer, okay, time is irrelevant to God. Time is irrelevant to Yahweh. Get that through your head. In Hebrew, in the Old Testament, the tense is present tense. I am that I am. Who do you say that I am? I am, Before Abraham was, I am. Present tense, Being, existing, creating, present tense. And so I want to just ask for prayer for Mr. Stone Kingdom, Shannon, because he's stuck down there, and stuck meaning he went down there to work for a guy, and the guy worked him, and hopefully we're just praying, and I'm asking you to pray right now. I don't care if you see this 3 years from now or 4 years from now when I'm uploading this in 2018. Pray about the situation. It's irrelevant. I want to tell you a story. And this is a true story. Well, I can't verify it, but it's a true story. these women were getting together for prayer, and they thought, instead of just us praying for this and praying for that, why don't we just be quiet and ask, the Holy Spirit to put on our hearts things that need to be prayed for. And so they started doing that, and they were getting really sensitive to the whole thing and to the Holy Spirit, and listening and hearing and seeing and sensing things. And one woman said, I see two men in blue. Another one said, it's dark. And another one said, they're in a plane. And the other one says, I don't know what's going on, but they're in danger, and we need to pray for them. And so they prayed for them. And the one woman told the first woman that saw it, said, this has something to do with you. And she, I don't, Well, years later, she got married, and her husband was a pilot, and come to find out it was him 4, 5, 6, 10, I don't know, many years earlier, flying for the U.S. Post Office. And they were in a Learjet, and they were trying to land, and they were running low on fuel, and the weather got socked in, and they were diverted. They went to another airport. The weather had socked in. They were going to another airport, and they were heading in for, I think it was Detroit. And they right 2 minutes to spare before the weather clouded over and they couldn't get in. They landed with very few minutes of fuel left. And the guy was thinking, I don't want to show up at heaven and go, what are you doing here? Well, I was too stupid to land, So it was pretty cute. But it was her husband. So time is irrelevant to Yahweh. And I'm just asking you, when you see this, just pray about the situation. I'd love for Shannon to be able to come down here and spend a little bit of time with us. It's a long ways, and it's not that big of a deal. There's only like 9 people here, plenty of food, but there's other places he can go to nearby. And I would just like to see him, seeing how he was the first one that showed up, and seeing how his name of his YouTube channel is Stone Kingdom of Yahweh, that maybe he ought to observe Passover in the Stone Kingdom here. So, yeah, I think that would be advisable. I said it's really not an option. It's commanded 3 times. Look them up. One of them I know is Leviticus 23. It's in Deuteronomy, Leviticus, and I believe Numbers. There's 3 times where it talks about the 3 feast days and the strictures and commands, and for observing them. So 3 times throughout the year, your males will appear before Yahweh, and they will not appear empty-handed. In other words, bring some kind of an offering for the blessings that you've had through the year. And we're supposed to, tabernacles for sure, you're supposed to save up all year long so that you can take that time at tabernacles and celebrate the harvest. So yes, at that time Israel was primarily an agricultural nation, and it will primarily be an agricultural nation again. We need to grow gardens. We need to have gardens. So we'll learn to grow a garden, and our new borders hold. Yeah, we have borders. I wrote that before I ever knew that, before I ever knew that there was an Ozark Plateau. So yeah, let's get with it. All right, this is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant.